Hey everybody, so I'm making this video for the purpose of comparing my metal drums, and I have three of them. I have three 6.5 Ludwig snare drums, and then I have two, right? No, I have one other Ludwig snare that's a 5.5 Supraphonic. It's a chrome over brass, but this video is going to focus on the three 6.5s that I have and that I use most often for these videos. The first drum that I'm going to profile is this one that's right here, and this is actually a drum that I got from Terry Keating of Bonzolium fame. Actually, Terry just called me. I just got off the phone with him, and he was talking about his new drumsticks that he got, his customized sticks, which I have a pair right here. Actually, he gave me this pair for Christmas, and I've got to say, these are my favorite sticks that I've played, at least recently. I don't know if they're my favorite ever in the history of drumming, but these sticks feel so good to play, and basically what they are is a replica of the Ludwig 2A. I'll hold them up to this camera here, and he signed these off to me very kindly. But yeah, these are a replica of the old 2A, which Bonham played supposedly very often, and I just think that they feel really good. Like the thickness is just right, the weight and balance are really good. They're not too heavy in the front end, or they just don't feel imbalanced at all, and they have this taper that's a bit thin, so one thing about the old 2As, they can crack easily. So I haven't really wailed on these yet, but I really like the shape of this bead and the way the taper is here in the shoulder, because it gives you a really nice rebound. And these sticks just feel really, really good to play. So thank you, Terry, for this very nice and useful Christmas present. And I know he's selling them now, so if you head over to Bonzolium, you can find out how to pick yourself up a pair, because I highly recommend them. They're really great. So regarding this snare drum, I bought this snare drum actually from Terry a few years ago. I really liked the sound that he achieved with this. He customized it, and I'll hold it up to the camera here so you can see. This is a Blacrolite, as it's called. It's an acrolite shell with a black enamel coating that's kind of sparkly. And the reason I started using this more lately is obviously it matches this brand new Legacy kit that I got in black sparkle. I think it looks really good with it. I also love the sound of this drum. I play this drum somewhat often on gigs, on jazz gigs, and I really like it. It's got a really nice range of tuning. It's got a really nice low range where it sounds nice and fat when you tune it down. And let's see what's custom about it. He changed out the lugs. He put brand new Imperial lugs on it, which of course gives it the classic Supra look. Also, it's got a muffler somewhere. Where is it? Oh yeah, there. And I don't know if Terry added that muffler or if it came standard with it. I thought Ludwig didn't usually put mufflers on their snares, so I'm assuming he did. I'm not sure about that. He also changed out the badge and put a brass keystone badge, which is the same type badge that I have on my kit. So this drum looks really good with this kit, and I really enjoy playing it too. I'm kind of messing with the tuning a little bit here and there. It's got 42 strand snare wires on it, ambassador reso on the bottom, clear, and a vintage coated ambassador on the batter side, which is a 2-ply head. So these three snares that I have, the three Supras basically, they have different heads. The wires are a little different too. One of the other ones has a 42 strand, one has like a 30 strand, I think it is. It's a canopus set of wires. So this isn't strictly like, what do these snares sound like with all the same, accoutrements, the same heads, the same wires. This is pretty much, the purpose of this is to compare just the three snares that I like playing and how I have them set up, how they sound good to me. So I'm gonna get started with this drum, and for each drum what I'm going to do is demonstrate the sound of the drum by itself, just playing some rolls and flams and rim shots and stuff, and then I'm going to play the drum in a groove. And I've got 4 songs in mind to play as a demo. I've got Poor Tom. These are songs that I think that make sense to play, that have kind of a lot of snare drum in the beat. So Poor Tom is one. We're Gonna Groove is another one. It's got a pretty active snare drum part. Moby Dick, and In My Time of Dying, the main groove with all the snare drum work. So let's get started with this drum and hear what it sounds like. Okay, so next up is my trusty old late 60s Supraphonic. This drum is just a beautiful sounding drum. It's in pretty decent shape. It's got some scratches and scuffs, but it's over 50 years old, so it's looking pretty good. The badge is a Ludwig Keystone badge. Badge number is 625692. And I think there's a date stamp in here. I can't remember the exact date, but it's late 68, I think. It says December something, 1968. And I've got a vintage Emperor on here, which is well worn. I haven't changed this head in a long time. And hopefully you can take a look at the drum and see through all the fingerprints. But I love this drum. This has got a set of 42 strand wires on it that I think I actually have to adjust. It looks like they're pulling a little bit toward the strainer side. But again, this drum is tuned tone-wise very similar to the others. I tried to get them all right at about the same pitch. So let's take a listen to this baby. This one you've heard many, many times. This is probably the drum that I've recorded most for this channel and for PFOZ. So let's take a listen to it with my Bonzolium 2A John Bonham replica drumsticks. Here we go. Okay, so last and by no means least is my 6.5 Supraphonic chrome over brass drum, which I got I think about a year ago. And I really love this drum. This drum has a different tone, of course, than the standard Supraphonic Ludalloy shell. The badge on this one is a blue olive pointy badge. It's probably from the early 70s. The serial number looks like 950179. Any Ludwig experts out there could probably date this drum based on that. I think it's early 70s. But it's got slightly thinner snare wire. I think that's a 30. Canopus makes a 30 strand wire. And I tried a 42 on this, but I felt like the drum already has kind of a dark and a bit of a heavier vibe to it, and I thought this set of wires actually opened the drum up just a little bit more. But I may do a straight up comparison between this drum and my old Supraphonic Ludalloy shell and have the same heads, same wires, everything. But for now, I've been playing this drum like this. It's got the vintage A head, which is pretty worn in as well. Another 2-ply vintage A head. Vintage ambassador head. And yeah, so this is a great drum, beautiful drum. I love this drum. It's the way the shell is identified is there's a little, that it's brass, there's a little B which you can't see that's under this butt plate, and it's quite heavier than the standard Ludalloy shell. So same deal, I'm going to play the same bit of snare drum samples and then 4 different little drum groove bits, and you can compare this one to the previous 2 and let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you have a preference. I'm looking forward to seeing what the response is to this video. So let's hear this baby now. Little poor Tom. We're going to groove. Now a little Moby Dick. In my time of dying.